This is a picture of my cat Belle. We got her when I was about 5 or 6. I was still in a booster seat. The earliest memory I have of her was her getting out of her cage on the ride back home, and my brother crying because he thought that she was going to scratch him. Belle was always a very I won't say skittish, but if you pet her the wrong way, she would scratch back at you. And if some of you are a bit older fans of me, you'll remember in some parts of my videos, in the face cam, you could see in the background Belle running around, and even in some of my videos, you could see her like full front in the video instead of just being in the background. It's safe to say that Belle was a major part of our family. She was our first major pet. I think I had hermit crabs and fish when I was a little bit younger, but she was the first major pet my family had, and she stuck to me like glue. There was a certain point when I was about 11 or 12 where she just kind of followed me around, and that was it, really. When we moved into a new house, she would stay in my room because she was scared because of the new environment, and then she would just follow me around anywhere. Whatever room I would be in, she would also be in, whether I was taking a shower or not. So, a couple months ago, we started to notice a growth on the underside of her stomach. And at first, wasn't sure what it was. When we got to the vet, they not only noticed the red growth that we did, they also noticed a massive baseball sized lump near her reproductive organs. And without really having to do any tests, they were certain that it was an aggressive form of cancer. And they gave us anywhere between a few weeks to a few months before she deteriorated enough to where she would have to put down. So I took the news really hard because she was my cat. We've had her for so long. I It was hard, and I got home from that news and got dressed and went to work. That day, I really didn't have time to process properly. I got home 5 minutes maybe and went to work. We did. She just seemed very normal for the most part. She was still that, the same cat that I've had for so long. So it made me even more worried that, like, one day she would just stop. Thankfully, it wasn't that sudden. But as the weeks turned to months and I was just still thankful she was with us, she started to deteriorate. And a couple weeks ago, my mom told me that we would have to set a date for an end of life appointment, or the appointment where they um, put down animals. Hearing the news about the day that we were doing this made it hurt all over again. And I knew it had to happen because it had to. She was deteriorating. She wasn't eating. She wasn't using the bathroom where she normally does in her litter box. It was kind of going anywhere. So it had to happen because she was in pain. This is starting to sound kind of rambly, and I'm trying to keep a consistent timeline. But yeah, the last week was rough. It was very rough. I I tried to love her as best I could, as I had been doing for 13 years. We've had her, maybe less, maybe like 11 or 12, however long. I tried to love her the same, but knowing that the next week she wouldn't be here was hard. It was a hard thing to deal with. One of the hardest days leading up to it was probably the day before. Um, Not even just for the obvious reasons. like it being the day before it was going to happen, so it was rough thinking about it, but I managed to keep a brave face until the drive home from school. I just kind of broke down. And then the next day, the day of the appointment came. And prior, like a couple days, maybe a week prior, my mom asked me if I wanted to be there. And I said, of course. Of course, I would like to be there. So I left school early. Um, and the hardest part about this whole thing was definitely having to leave the house with her, knowing I wouldn't come back with her. So when we got there to the vet, they explained the process to us, what was going to happen, and if we wanted to be there for the whole thing. And once again, I said yes. I want to be here for the whole thing. So, how they do it is they administer, I believe, was it um three injections. The first one was a was a relaxant to kind of chill her out so she wouldn't feel anything else. And after the relaxant, after the relaxant, we got more time with her, and she's always been a really like I said earlier, kind of a sassy cat. Like she would scratch at you if you pet her the wrong way. And seeing her so docile when the injection was administered, it kind of messed me up because I know what she's like, and she wasn't like that. She was still alive. I could see her breathing, her eyes moving, ears twitching, but she couldn't move. And then the other two injections, one of them, I forget what it was, but I know the third one basically just. The third one was the last one, and it stops the heart right away. And I pet her until and I pet her until the doctor basically, or the vet basically told us that she was gone. It was hard. It was super hard to say goodbye. Um, the day that day made the decision to have her cremated and brought home. And it was really hard having to leave the room after because we were the ones to walk away. It wasn't like a when they had like brought her in the other room after she was gone. We had to walk away, and it was like the final goodbye basically. Because when we saw her next, it was after she was cremated. So she's here back at home, but she's no longer with us. And this was the last picture I took of her. That was the day before. And at the time, I really didn't see it, but retrospectively, I could see that she was tired. She looked very skinny for not eating, and she was in a lot of pain. I do miss her a lot, but I'm glad that she's no longer suffering. Obviously, if I could, I would, have more time with her, but not in that state. The state she was in, I wouldn't have changed what we did at all. If I had more time she before the cancer became, I would say, terminal, or like it was not gonna change, then I would have more time with her then, but I wouldn't change what we did how we did it. It was bad. It still hurts. It's been about a week and a half. I did upload a video a couple days after it happened, but obviously the video wasn't nearly related. And I took some time off because I just needed to figure out, you know, waking up every day and not having to and not seeing her, and coming home from school and not seeing her. It feels it just it feels like something's missing. If, by the way, if some parts of this video you can't really understand, it's because I'm talking low and the mic's not picking it up. I'll try my best to translate. It's rough. I was gonna try to keep this video not as I wasn't gonna try. I was gonna try not to cry in this video, but some parts are really hard for me to talk about. But I wanted to make this video just to talk about it. Obviously, I've talked about it with parents, friends, but I wanted to make this as kind of a like an entry to like a journal or something, like a video journal, just to kind of talk and get these feelings out, basically into the void. Um, so yeah, thank you to anyone who stuck around and listened to this video. It's been hard. I'm really gonna miss her. All right. Thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you guys in a new video, hopefully sometime soon. Sorry for the hiatus, but I really needed to take the time off because I couldn't really deal with it at that moment. So thank you. I really appreciate it. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys in another video. Goodbye.